Okay. 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 Awesome. We're strembing.
And just when you think vegetables don't have bones,
You sound like
rings.
crickets are infesting your microphone.
Sorry, there's a candle, and for some reason, when it starts to struggle to burn, it like makes a vibrating noise. Hang on, let me bring it
Yeah,
close.
that is the problem.
I've blown it.
Yeah? Try talking again?
And just when you think
No, it's still there.
vegetables don't have... That's weird. What do you mean it's still there? I've got nothing doing it.
Yeah, this is what Cag was complaining about.
Give me a moment. I'm gonna close and reopen, I guess.
No, I don't think that'll fix it. I think it's a hardware issue.
How's that?
Try talking again?
Talking.
Nope, that hasn't fixed it.
noise. What does it sound like?
It sounds like crickets have infested your microphone.
I don't know what that...
It sounds like a buzzing. But like high-pitched buzzing, like a cricket.
Does it help if I move?
Yeah, that does help.
Okay, that was weird. I don't know what it could have been.
It's probably interference from something.
Okay. Moved it like 5 centimeters over.
Awesome.
I guess that was enough. Anyway, hi chat.
Hi, chat. By chat, I mean, Riley. You know,
just gonna
yeah, no, everything's working fine. YouTube is complaining that my bitrate is too low.
Tell YouTube it's wrong.
Oh, wait. That doesn't affect the volume? Oh, it does, but on a delay. What?
Odd.
What is wrong with my... That's way too loud. My music volume slider is on a delay.
I think I found what the issue is.
What's the issue?
Is the buzzing back?
No.
Oh. The only thing that was near my microphone was my drawing tablet stylus.
That could cause it, because maybe I don't know.
Either way.
SBURB for dummies. You want to just get right into it?
Oh, sorry, just whacked my knee. And yeah, go for it. Do you want to start or shall I?
Hold on, I want my music back.
I want your music back. I don't hear it. I hear it now.
Oh, now it's magically increasing itself again.
Oh, love that. Okay. So, we're going to continue reading today.
Nope, now
I
it's gone
think
again.
I think as well, it might be worth us talking about the bits that we like, seeing what we wouldn't mind taking inspiration from, for other such works. Because the creators of this have done an amazing job.
What kind of what other works?
Not other works. I'm saying we're talking about the mechanics that they've suggested here.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying we should discuss them a bit when they come up.
Yeah, we have been doing that.
I suppose we have.
Yeah, that's the point of the reading.
Yes, true.
Yeah. So we've been doing that. That's good. Yep.
Great. Glad we're on the same page.
SBURB for Dummies. So now that you've gone through some gates, met your internet buddies, did they look like who pictured them? And now you're back to where you started. Now it's time to go out there and plan some mischief. To explore SBURB far and wide, make friends, break things, get into fights, scrums, and whatnot. So let's throw down some basic questions about the early game. Don't worry, we're almost done going over things which will instantly kill you.
Chapter... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just keep reading.
Go for it. I was gonna read the next section, but you're free to.
Because like all of the questions are like, I don't know. Chapter 6A, exploring your land. Question, I don't like my land. Can I get a reroll? Sure, let's hit F5 and refresh the entire game installation. No problem here, none at all. Seriously though, you get what you get. Tough luck, buddy. Question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, you're good.
Should I are we going back to swapping between each segment, or do you want to just go ahead and read through?
I wouldn't mind reading through, honestly. Especially if you want to keep working on the it's currently late. On the like orthographics.
Yeah. That works.
I love how
I will be switching to 3D today though.
Ooh, we're gonna get actual not Vasca.
We're gonna have Vasca too.
Really quickly, do you want to see the the like third person camera controller?
Oh, absolutely.
I finished it yesterday. I have
Brush
unhooked...
Apocalypse says, man, I was obsessed with the glitch FAQ back in the day. I suspect it to be the source of my ongoing fixation with SBURB.
Absolutely.
Same there.
Absolutely. Okay, so you were so loud. Be gone. Okay, so currently the like first person camera is also unhooked from the body. So like, why is it running at 24 FPS? Oh, it's probably because I'm streaming. Yeah, so the Vasca body just kind of moves according to like my input direction and not the direction I'm like. Why did you crash?
I mean, we do need to oh shit.
What?
Maybe it's because you're streaming at the same time.
No, that shouldn't cause it. It was an actual error.
Oh, I see.
Apparently the... No, yeah, the movement code... Oh, wait, what?
Brush Apocalypse says that they have been prodding at a SBURB simulator of their own, but they're making it in Twine.
Twine? What is Twine? You know what? I just realized that Googling for Twine isn't going to give me any results.
Twine.
No, Jackalope, yes.
No, it did. It's oh, it's like one of those non-linear choose your own adventure story game engines. I know it.
Oh, okay, that's cool. And MAS, here's the third person, which is just the first person, but on a boom. It was obscenely hard getting the camera to sync up with the player body at the appropriate time, because it has to be after the physics simulation, but before the like parent positions get recalculated. What is that? This is the gun.
It's an interesting gun.
Yeah, all of the weapons are just like capsules right now because I don't know, we just started making models.
That we did.
Anyway, the plan.
Speaking of,
yeah,
time for me to start on the model. Continue. Sorry.
I would love to have animation so I can actually tell that I'm sliding right now and not just walking.
See, I'm hoping that we can get someone that knows a bit more about animation, because unfortunately that's one of the areas where I'm really not all that strong with.
I know about animation.
Oh, right.
Anyway, yeah, the plan is to have, you know, when you're in combat, which we do need a basic combat detection anyway, when you're in combat, it'll like actually point Vriska or the player towards where you're aiming. Oh, look, a hole. Never mind, the hole crashed. In the exact same spot. Okay, well now I know what I'm going to work on after stream today.
I'm just gonna dump the orthographic view into the chat real quick, so you can have a peek and or show it if you wish while I get up Blender and get ready.
Excellent. Here's the orthographic. This is our basic player body design for like late teens / young adults.
Late teens, early adults, yeah. We are basically making a sort of like progression model from sprite mode being the youngest characters to guardian mode being sort of middle-age adults.
Can you post the timeline progression?
Yeah, sure.
I like showing that off. It's like, wow, that doesn't look super on model for home stuff, but then you look at the timeline progression, it's like, oh,
I see how it becomes that. This is also meant to be like sort of PestaQuest era.
So you start in sprite mode as a child, and then you become less round until you just become a photorealistic adult. This is the one where most of our players are expected to be at. And then once you die, you become a lich underling. And then if you die again, you become a shorter lich underling called the demi-lich.
Definitely, that's how it goes. That's the life cycle.
That's a life cycle. Or maybe it goes the other direction. This is like fetus. This is the fetus. And then this is about to give birth. And then this is you when you're born.
The whole deal with a lich is seeking eternal life and eternal youth.
Exactly.
So, they become a more powerful lich, and then they're like, oh, I've got a body back. Now I'm an anime twink.
I'm having a baby, and the baby is you.
Exactly.
Can't believe Toby Fox put that in Pokemon.
No, you can't. I can.
I can. Oh my! There's so much stuff I want to like talk about the current Toby Fox drama, but I can't do it on stream.
Oh. I don't know the drama.
Well. It's about Deltarune. People are accusing Toby Fox of being a pro shipper, despite the fact that he hasn't done anything at all.
Because of the fucking dating sequences in Undertale.
No. This is just because some people are like have really weird interpretations of like Deltarune characters that aren't reflective of what Toby Fox actually put into the game at all.
That's so weird.
Which is really funny. And so they're like, I don't know. It's all Twitter drama anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Always is.
But it's still really funny. Hey, do you want to read the next question? Oh, no, wait, I was going to read and you were going to work on the models, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Question. My title is lame. Totally doesn't suit me. Is it possible that SBURB made a mistake? Hey, you know what sounds cool? I should be the Knight of Death. Yeah. First of all, death is not an aspect in SBURB. Secondly, there are no known glitches in title generation. What you get is what you should have. SBURB rules are challenges. They are not meant to suit you. They are only meant to be the worst thing you could ever get. Imagine you're back in the 6th grade and the teacher plans for the class to perform a play, right? Then he decides he should pick the rules and everybody ends up with the worst choice as if the teacher wanted this play to crash and burn. That's SBURB. You're welcome. Note, titles are a convoluted subject. Apart from being hard, titles can mean many things. They can be something you want to be, something you fear to be, something you can't be, something you pretend to be but aren't, something you don't want to be but are, and so forth. Please refer to Narcoleptic Scribe's 24 pages long essay on the subject for more information. Question. I'm being told by the sprite/consorts that there's something wrong with my land. Why did it get a broken land? That is no bug, actually. All lands have something wrong with them, and the players must fix it. This is part of the main quest called terraforming. Question. When my consorts or my sprite try to name my land, one of the words comes out all garbled. Bug. Your land was generated with the frog thematic. All sessions requires a land with a frog thematic. SBURB ensures this by generating a land and then adding an extra of frog at the end, effectively making it a land with 3 themes. Of course, SBURB's coding does not support this. Who thought this was a good idea anyway? Anyway, the last 2 themes of the frog land always squish together and turn it into a garbled mess. The lands function normally otherwise. Note, sometimes the game may just ask you to say out loud the name of your land. This mostly happens during SBEPIS ceremonies and when performing the Knell. Just look around your land and try to guess what's the missing thematic. You'll have to announce it as the land of X and frogs. Interesting. What is the Knell? I can't wait to get to that. Or the carapace ceremonies, because that actually sounds interesting. I would love to develop out the Dream Moon quests.
Same.
Because
I have a lot that I want to get down for Durst and Prospect specifically.
Well, yeah, those are the Dream Moons.
I didn't mean that. I meant compared to the game, the various lands. I want to explore those places.
Heck yeah, I'm excited. Question. I'm only being told my title when speaking to my consort/sprite. I don't know my aspect. I can't find my aspect symbol anywhere, nor will the consort/sprite talk about it. Bug. You're the player of Void. The Void aspect has a long history of not being found, including by near-omniscient game abstractions like sprites and denizens. You won't be able to find your aspect symbol anywhere in SBURB, except on your own god hoodie after you ascend. Don't worry, it looks okay, some kind of circle on a blue background. Question. I keep getting called a different title/aspect. Bug. You're the player of Mist. Mist stands on the opposite end of Void and represents things that are many things at the same time. This aspect bugs dialogues. You're being confused for one of your friends in the game and using their title aspect when referring to you. Luckily, Mist is not as badly glitched as Void. You should be able to see your symbol laying around to confirm your aspect. It's some kind of rhombus. Note, if you want to actually confirm your title, you'll need to get a bit tricky with dialogue options. Find a talkative consort, sprites are too likely to be cryptic, and ask the consort, who are the heroes of Skya, or something like that. If you make it name all of the players in a row, you can't be confused with someone else. The last player to be named will invariably be you, the X of Mist. Question. Where am I supposed to get food from? Well, do you feel hungry? Didn't think so. The healing things that your sprite gives you count as food. Well, in a weird manner, since all access is lost instead of making you into a fat ass. As long as your sprite is around, food is accounted for. Did I mention that your sprite will invariably die/disappear? Oops, spoiler. Once that happens, you'll need to employ alternative ways to sustain yourself, the most important one being the Song of Life player command. How do we want survival mechanics?
I think we generally want them because it pushes the player to actively engage with the crafting systems beyond just making, gear. But I don't think we want them to be required by default. I think it's very much like a turn it on when you start the game kind of thing.
Okay. So, like, a food meter. Also, I'm getting echo from your microphone. From me.
You are?
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I can hear yourself in your mic. Well, I can't anymore.
That's weird.
Yeah. Shrug. So yeah, so
Okay,
do you just have a food meter, or you die, or?
I think it is like a food meter, probably a sleep meter, to kind of push you to go to sleep more often.
Well, yeah, I think we should have the sleep meter either way.
I kind of don't agree because we've got the roleplay system to incentivize people to do that otherwise.
Okay. Honestly,
they're gonna. Ooh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, we could just have food be healing items in general. Like either healing
Yeah,
or some sort of potion.
I don't mind food acting as healing items. It's pretty easy enough. I think it would also mean that how I said that I was like, I really want to do like a baking mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a
right,
fun
for the
way
life.
to kind of make that more useful.
Yeah. Okay, that'd be really cool. Question. Why did my sprite give me a pendant? Critical threat. Keep this pendant with you. It is important. It does not have a use when you receive it, but it will have a use later when you learn player commands. These things are basically short songs that you play while wearing the pendant. They perform SBURB things like console commands. You're kind of fucked if you lose it. Most importantly, this pendant is your first unique item. Even if you have the code for it, there can only be one in the session. This makes losing the pendant a good deal worse. By the way, you should avoid attempting any alchemy with this pendant. It can glitch your sprite and kill it. Consider yourself warned. Okay, so we had an idea that was like this, where you have the, like the capture card that like represents you. Remember that idea? It has like all of your grist stores and stuff, but I think we ended up removing that. And just like having grist be transferable otherwise. Are we going to have this kind of unique item? Or did we end up refactoring that into something else, or did we just scrap it?
I don't think we made a specific item. We know that we needed the pendant because it's a canon item, right? But we didn't really decide what it does.
Well, in canon, it just summons your sprite.
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't think that hurts to have as an ability.
But also your
Especially
sprite...
Oh, go ahead.
But also, like, summoning your sprite to just any location to heal you could be kind of overpowered.
I mean, it says it summons your sprite. It doesn't say they magically appear. They have to make their way to you.
Oh, so it's just like, it just calls your sprite. Okay.
They're an NPC that are useful, and perhaps it takes, stuff to use.
Well, if it takes stuff to use, then it would probably need to have some more important purpose than just like signaling for your sprite to come back.
A sprite is very powerful in combat specifically.
I mean, if you ever played TGP, you're near unkillable while you're in your house, just because your sprite is there constantly lasering you to heal you.
There's that.
Alright, question. Wait a minute, something is wrong. My land doesn't have a rotation. The day is never going to change to night. How am I supposed to sleep? Normal. SBURB planets will never rotate, nor do they get light from a sun object. The light comes from the sky, which is naturally glowing. You may be able to see sky above your house, but it doesn't glow that much. It's the sky's ambient light that decides the day-night cycle. And yes, there is one. Dozing will cause ambient light to lower by 5% per 5 minutes, reaching a lower threshold of 30%. Upon waking up, light levels are restored by 5% every 10 minutes. Note, some desert worlds have the default light set at 120%. Alchemize suntan or umbrellas if you have sensitive skin. Consider investing grist into sunglasses if your land is mostly plains. Note, some lands are naturally dark, clouded, or consist of cave systems. These lands follow different rules, since the sky is out of the equation. They're generated as per the rules of underground areas in SBURB. They are lit by a plethora of glowing fixtures. Stuff like glowing rocks, crystals, televisions, flaming skulls, anything you want. Some of these large things produce a special light called biophosphoridecrystalluminescence. For more information on the subject, please consult its associated chapter. Were we going to... Have we talked about day-night cycles yet?
We did, but we were undecided because I think we both saw it in different ways at the time. I was personally under the impression that day-night cycles are important to show a progression of time, but we might want them to not necessarily be a major factor in the land changing. The lands don't rotate, so we can't have the light source come from Skya.
Mm-hmm. I think there was
Or if
something
we
cool
do,
about the concept of, you cross past the equator and then suddenly everything's dark.
yes, that was something we discussed, the dark side of each land. With the light side of your land always being your house and the dark side always being your quest bed.
Yeah. I still like that.
And that being like, I do too. I think it helps us like quickly reflect danger as well, because darker areas kind of quietly say to the player this might be a little bit more dangerous than you're expecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it helps us kind of create a visual shorthand for the player to know that they've stepped into a more dangerous zone.
Alright, cool. Question. The day is never turning to night. Bug. The light levels of your land is coordinated with dream self mechanics. If your sleep ratio is abnormal, then you may find irregularities in your land's daylight. If you suffer from the negative sleep ratio, dream self always awake, the game will never recognize when you try to sleep and it's always day. If you suffer from the double dream self bug, the light level might increase and decrease sporadically because of your duplicated sleep ratio stat. Note, alternatively, some lands do not have a day-night cycle because of their thematics. For example, if your land has light or night in it, don't expect a miracle. Question. I was exploring an area of my land and suddenly got swamped with a million billion monsters. Critical threat. SBURB lands are divided in zones with invisible boundaries called empires. These zones dictate a spawn rate of underlings, their behavior, and their aggression. The most dangerous of these zones is the Atomic Empire. It is a death sentence. Walking blindly into these hotspots can murderize you without any chance of survival. If you find that enemies in a zone are suddenly very hostile, or that they wander towards you as if they cheated and knew your location, then retreat immediately in the direction you came from. Consult Chapter 11 for more information on empires. Question. Is it possible my land was generated with a bugged theme? Critical threat. There are a handful of lands which are critically batshit. For a start, if your land has angels or gloggoth in its
Hang on,
name.
where?
Here.
Hang on. I was looking at the wrong screen. Let me get stream up. Gloggoth.
In its name, consult Chapter 15 on corruption. Oh, and stay the hell away from these guys. If your land is generated with pumpkin, you're in a world of trouble. If your land is generated with a keyword that is a SBURB aspect, there will be major glitches if it coincides with your aspect. If you don't want to fall through a floor or get stuck into a wall, don't visit your friend's world if it has your aspect in its name. If a world has peace in its name, stuff on it will appear peaceful even if it isn't. If it has wrath in it, everything in the world will freak you out as if it's hostile even if it isn't. Finally, some lands generate non-underling enemies. They're not dangerous, but it's a bit annoying because they don't drop grist. Question. So apparently the big bad guy of my land is a bully called the Denizen. Can I directly find that guy and punch him in the snout? Critical threat. You will die. The Denizen is not a boss that you can meet out of sequence. It's not even a real boss for a start. Nonetheless, if you meet a Denizen too early, its SBURB script will not be set up correctly and it will attack you after speaking to you. This will kill you in 0.0001 seconds. In order for the Denizen quests to work properly, you must complete the prerequisite quest. That is, you must perform the knell, a quest where you make a huge sound to, quote, wake the Denizen, and announce your stake for the land. Note, the Denizen is an important game feature. Noticeably, they offer special blessings when you cannot proceed forward in the game. These blessings are normally expensive, but denizens freely offer denizen blessings to people who are about to die. Which is what you are, if you meet a denizen out of sequence. This boon can be used to help your friends or alter the real timeline in case you are in a splinter. It cannot save you, however. This game forces the denizen to attack you after a dialogue. Okay, so the knell is like the John organ windy thing.
Makes
Yeah, or
sense.
Rose playing the rain. And then the announcing the stake for your land is part that we'll get into later, but the entire first section of the game in this universe is the denizen like is like the owner of the land, and you as a prince or princess try to claim the land for your own, and that involves fighting the denizen. I mean, after getting the rest of the land on your side by doing other quests.
Makes sense.
Chapter 6b, Consort Villages. Question, when I try to come to your consort village, they come out and attack me. Critical threat, do not strife. This is a minor scripted event and is harmless. If you make the mistake of attacking a consort, you can kiss your land reputation goodbye. This will have all kind of complications, so don't do it. Besides, you should notice that the script is a fake show. They aren't even hurting you. They're just lifting their fists and throwing weak sauce insults. This event will end after a minute or so, but if you leave and return, then it will begin again from the start. Just let them surround you and wait a bit until a consort with a fake beard comes out. It will calm down the crowd and announce that you are the chosen one. Then it will ask you to confirm if you're the chosen one. If you say no, it'll just keep asking, are you sure, until you say yes. After this, the consorts will be pacified into a normal village. Note, the scripted event only happens with certain titles and aspects. Thief and Rogue, Rage and Doom. This may have something to do with the bearded consort saying that you may look like a bad guy, but you have a heart of gold or something similar. Oh well, the important part is that this only happens once in the first consort village encountered. I like this concept. This is a nice, like, first encounter with a consort village. Wanted to check Discord. The denizen, Illustrious Fly says the denizen is the landlord, if you will. Question, what about the small critters that are flying around? Are they consorts? Technically, they are called land familiars, but from the point of view of the game's coding, they are consorts in most aspects. They're not terribly important. These little guys have a tendency to cling to people with high land reputation. Because of a small glitch with the land reputation variable, they always cling to players when they're ascending. I like the land familiars. I also like the name land familiars. That's what you generally call them. Because I don't think they're even talked about in Homestuck at all.
They're not given a canon name, no.
Question. I browsed the shops a bit, and one of them had prices that were completely bonkers. Bug? Actually, no, it's normal. This is the Frame-Motif shop. Unlike the other shop instances, Frame-Motif economy is globalized and uses fixed prices. Hence why its price tags involving millions, while the shop next to it sells stuff in the double digits. You should ignore this shop for now. Note, if you want to know, Frame-Motifs are some kind of musical game abstractions. You call their name out loud, they start playing, you strife in sync with their beat, and you gain major stat bonuses. That's the gist of it. Oh, and you greatly upgrade their effect by alchemizing a musical instrument into your strife abstratus. Oh, and you have to worry about timed hits and performing chained combos and using mix-up musics when fighting with your friends. As usual, SBURB makes everything too complicated. You don't have to care about all that jazz for now, but once you reach mid-game, monster difficulty progression will hit a spike and you'll have to start using them a lot. We're making Frame-Motifs do more than just stat bonuses, right? Have we talked about Frame-Motifs?
Yeah, the magic.
Oh yeah, it is just the entire magic system. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the magic system. Yeah. Which was just going to essentially be player commands. Yeah. It was essentially just going to be player commands, right?
A mixture of that and some, like, 3 different groups of abilities, right? We've got player command type stuff where you put in thing happens, right? Which was effectively a simplified version of the previous system that we had, reworked entirely, you know?
Right.
just basically write the spell that you want to do. It has a set amount of mana it casts. You cast it. This is the more like free-form command-based one.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's more specifically individual abilities, which are, stuff that you pick during level ups. This is somewhat bound to the same system, but separated. Primarily because this is stuff that can cross the bounds between class spec. Different class specs will synergize with this one differently. So you might get an ability to, like, say, do a specific thing when an enemy dies, for example. Make sense?
I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
And then finally, there's the broad abilities. These are stuff that we do lock to aspect specifically or class specifically. They're not meant to overlap with each other, but these allow you to do a specific thing that is more about a skill ceiling. You get better at it by getting better at using it in combat and, generally out and about in the world.
Wait, so remember how we were going to have a procedurally generated skill tree?
Mm-hmm.
Is that just
Wait,
also the
frame generated?
Or not, sorry, not procedurally generated, but like procedurally constructed based on the roleplay system?
I didn't know it was going to be procedural.
Like we have a bunch of skills, and the ones ahead of you of where you currently are they swap out depending on what playstyle you're going for. Yeah?
I think we can still just show the players the ones that aren't part of their playstyles. We don't need to make that procedural.
Oh, okay.
Because, that's how you choose how you're going to play, effectively. Seeing that stuff is how you go, I like the look of this. I'm going to change my roleplay to suit it.
Okay.
What you might be thinking of is our hidden abilities, which is more based in, like, I did a bunch of this and now I have this upgrade. So I talked down 800 enemies, not real numbers, but like, now it's easier for me to talk down enemies.
What you mean, like the badges?
No, that's
like
a separate one.
That's a separate one. Okay.
Yeah.
Can we just lump these all as like mechanically frame motifs, which are generally just a thing that does a thing? But you just gain different ones in different ways.
Yeah. Because we were gonna have the beat box. No, that wasn't what it was called. What was it called?
No, that sounds familiar.
We were gonna have different spells be a code that you input.
Yeah.
But different bases can only do different types of spells. That way we don't need to make everything interlink, We don't have to make it so this spell can synergize with literally every ability under the sun, right?
Yeah.
We have different classes of abilities under the frame motif system.
Right.
Hang on, I need to turn the music down because it's making me laugh. I'm getting distracted.
I can barely.
So, you have these different classifications of abilities, right? These are the ones that are like player built. You have generally some different amount of tools that you can stick together to do different types of spells. It's not infinite, but then we have two other types. We've got, hey, every bard will have this ability, and every time player will have this ability. And it's just about learning how to use that better. That's less... I don't even know if I want to call that fray motifs. I think it interacts with the fray, but I don't think it's fray motifs, right? That feels like just a class spec ability generally.
Yeah. I don't know.
The third one.
This just comes back to like, every bard will have this ability. No, sorry, never mind. I'm good. I was about to complain about the like how much specialization different class specs have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, these abilities are meant to be quite broad, but with a high skill ceiling. So, they're like specifically. I imagine your class gives you specifically an attack tech, right? Whereas your aspect gives you some form of move tech or ability. Make sense?
Yeah. But
That
like
way
you're
we
not
don't need to worry.
limited to just those.
Exactly, that's what the other class spec thing is for. That way, even though you get your special tool as part of being an X of Y, you can still make a build that varies dramatically from another player who has the same build as you, and you're not bound to play a certain way, because generally these abilities are the same thing for all player, but played out a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, every class will have its own unique form of attack tech, and every aspect will have its own special ability, but they're all
Yeah.
somewhat equal. You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's
Oh.
that it's
Oh.
that first one, the spell, that is the three motifs.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. Hytale is adding Cyber City assets
Ooh,
as creative mode only, but sci-fi blocks in Hytale? I'm intrigued.
hell yeah. Okay, so those are the first two. Third one is when you level up, anyone can pick different abilities, right? So you
Right.
might be able to pick something that's not necessarily super in line with a certain class spec, but it doesn't really matter because it's a level up ability.
Mm-hmm.
This is more based on what levels of skills you have, what you've done in world. It unlocks procedurally, but you can see them.
Right.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, the Hamper Sash, is just rewards for doing things in world that give you permanent bonuses.
Achievements.
Hmm. Achievements with bonuses.
Achievements should always have bonuses, TBH. Taking this from incremental games where it's like, when you proceed, you lose all your bonuses, except if it has achievements and rewards for achievements. Your achievements always persist. Unless you're my favorite game, Antimatter Dimensions, in which case regaining your achievements is also a game mechanic, which is very silly.
I imagine for us, the more achievements you have as well, the more god tiers you can progress through. Like, they sort of gate off certain areas,
I like that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. And that way, when it comes to inter-session play, especially when things get later on, we can kind of create a soft ceiling that can expand over time based on different, effectively metas that we want the achievement to go through.
Mm-hmm. Actually, okay, expanding on the thing I was just talking about, they persist. What if the sash badges persisted even through timeline shenanigans or resets? Not through a new game, but it's always a part of your character from whenever you do it.
I think that's fine. We've got roguelite elements. I feel like that's a great way to have it persist. They give you bonuses that persist even if you go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I think that creates a really interesting and terrifying circumstance, though, if you're up against yourself. Avoiding getting achievements so you don't accidentally power yourself up.
Oh, true.
I think that's interesting. I like that.
I also like the idea of, okay, I want this really niche and really expensive achievement. I'm going to go create a offshoot timeline where I just grind for 7 hours to go get that one achievement, and I'll just come back because I will have lost so much at the end of it.
Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
And I think the achievements should also include stuff like, it'd be really funny if you're just minding your own business and playing the game, and they got a pop up for your first achievement being exist in your first doomed timeline.
I think as well, what would be really cool is if other instances of your character can get you these achievements. So you don't necessarily always have to be the one that does it for your character to get it if you've got splinters going.
It would be really funny. Just like start spawning so many like time clones that all of your time clones start achieving random achievements. And it
Yeah,
like just
exactly.
infinitely powers up your character. That's so funny. How does time travel work again? Does the past or future version act like an NPC if you doom yourself? Yes. Yes, you become... So time clones are generally NPCs with, if they're like a recording of your past, then they want to do the things that you have already done.
Mm-hmm. Basically, if they're an NPC on an existing point of the timeline, they will just do as they should. Your past won't randomly change. However, if you're on a different timeline, that changes. We have some event systems that we're going to be making as well. That might mean that, say, one of your predestined events for your session is an alternate timeline version of yourself potentially getting involved.
Mm-hmm. Watch us accidentally make, like, every time you make a time clone, it becomes an escort quest, ensuring that your time clone becomes your, like, current self, just because the NPCs are so stupid.
We can make them less stupid.
Here's hoping. Doom is subjective. Would be able to kill past versions of ourselves for our loot. I mean, it's your loot. I assume you wouldn't drop grist when you die, but I guess you could drop your items? Question mark? So you could loot your items and then turn those back into grist?
You don't drop your items, you drop your silhouettes, which can be looted off your dead body.
Yeah.
Which,
so,
like, you know, functionally the same thing.
Which we can grist widget. Exactly. So I guess that is a method for making money. I don't like that idea. I feel like that needs to have repercussions.
I mean, yeah, you piss off yourself.
Like your other time clones?
Yeah, they stop working with you. You end up with a time travel scenario where all of your other versions of yourself are now enemies. After a point in the timeline, of course, where they would learn that information.
I like that. That's really funny. Just make the items paradox doomed. That would also be really funny. So like not only is your like bad timeline self doomed, but also all of the stuff is also doomed.
I mean, that is true, but destroying an item does effectively fulfill it being doomed. So recycling it into grist.
Yeah, I guess.
You effectively would just not be able to, like, steal your items straight up and then have them. You would have to recycle them, which,
yeah,
you know.
And then all of your grist becomes doomed.
Yeah, definitely.
It would be funny to have, like, the grist that you spend on new stuff, that stuff also becomes doomed within, like, the threshold of your doomed items.
I'm sure we could figure something like that out. And by we, I mean you.
Yeah, I love figuring stuff out. I love not implementing things.
Okay, so...
Alright. Continue?
How is this? Yeah, go for it.
Question. No, wait, read that one. Question. There's a consort that keeps spinning in place. That can't be normal, right? Just a minor bug. It happens because the land generates shop instances after generating all other consorts and houses in the village. Sometimes a shop is put down where a consort was supposed to walk, and its wandering algorithm doesn't reset properly. Just talk to the consort once, and it will behave normally afterward. I love just the random little bugs.
It's very fun.
Question. There's a weird bed in one of the consort houses. It's pretty much a slab of rock. The consorts say it's important. What is this all about? These are special beds called land beds. They're scattered around the lands and they are semi-important. These beds increase your sleep ratio, and lazing on them has a good chance to lull you to sleep even if you weren't that sleepy. They are useful if you have business to attend at dream moons. Note, bed objects are important in regards to dream self mechanics. See the facts section on dream selves for more information. Note, napping on land beds restores your lad pluck / last pluck. Slightly better than vanilla sleep. Plus they're actually a lot more comfortable than they look. Note, there is another type of bed object which you shouldn't confuse for an everyday land bed. It's a special bed and it is found on a tall spire called the Pinnacle of Miracles. Unlike the land bed, it has rod decorations and your aspect symbol engraved on it. Oh, and there's a huge-ass neon sign version of your aspect symbol floating above it called the Glow Shape. For more information on the quest bed, see Chapter 21. Question, is it normal that I can capture log consorts? Bug, SBURB does not let you capture log game abstractions normally, but because of a glitch that lets you pick up consorts. Be careful with this exploit. If you capture log a consort and then drop it somewhere that is not safe, such as a dungeon, this will be treated as a level 4 indirect hostility for the purpose of land reputation. The same as abandoning a consort during an escort mission. You'll have to grind on a few atonement quests to recover from that. To be safe, always drop consorts either at another consort village or at a dwelling spire. Note, when you have consorts in your Silodex, other consorts will talk as if they were around. Note, some dungeon entrances don't allow you in unless you are alone. If you have a consort in your Silodex, the door won't open. I see my goobers are currently awake.
Hi.
Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Question, I've seen a consort walk straight into a wall. Then it looked surprised, yelled witchcraft, and ran away. What's up with that? Bug, there's a secret passage in that wall. The game is too busy being a piece of shit to notice you haven't opened it yet. Just look around for a pressure plate / lever / button. Alternatively, you can just face the wall, shake your fist, and yell "open up" in a very serious tone. This works for the majority of low-level secrets. Question, I just bumped into an invisible consort. I said hi, and I went, holy shit, what now? Bug, the game failed to load a texture for the little guy. The bug is rare and completely benign. In fact, there's a cool exploit where you can bring these guys into endgame dungeons so you can push buttons on their side of laser fences. Just make sure to bring them back with you, they're easy to lose. Question. Do I really have to behold the secret consort? Yes. Question. What does that even means? Beats me. Chapter 6, Landmarks and Structures, offline. Okay. Back part 4, Potential Verdancy. In SBURB, everything that you find on your land is called verdancy. It is stuff that is growing on your land. The specific term, potential verdancy, refers to everything that you find on your land that is optional. And there's a lot of optional stuff to do in this game. Trust me, it pretty much never stops. Oh, for a second I thought this was like for the game, not the real SBURB. The real SBURB in real live New York City, York.
I love York.
I love the New York. No, this is fanfiction. This is fanfiction that we're pulling information from because it's awesome. Henceforth, the eternal question of all RPGs will apply here. What are you going to do? Are you going to work on the main storyline, or are you going to frolic around your land like a fairy and drunkenly guzzle down side quests after side quests like tomorrow wasn't a thing? Spoiler, it's the second one. 2 reasons. First, it's because it's what everybody does in RPGs. Secondly, because it happens to be a good idea. The main storyline rewards you with puzzle information concerning your mythological quest to save your land. The side quests? They teach you your special abilities. Which one is more awesome? No contest here. It's rule that everybody goes nutjob over wanting to learn how to control their aspect, even if it is fakey fake magic that is not real. Plus, special abilities are hella useful for staying alive. You know how much I approve of staying alive, so I give this approach my double thumbs up. I recommend starting your SBURB adventure by exploring your land, grabbing some quests, and getting a few dungeons under your belt before tackling terraforming. It's still gonna be there when you come back. Chapter 6C, quests. Wait, what? Oh. Question, where do I get quests? Speak to consorts. Note, I heard of a guy that was halfway through the game before realizing, wow, these little guys can talk? I just don't even know what to say. Question, there are a lot of consorts in villages. How can I tell which consorts give quests? Well, normally you just talk a lot to all of them, but there's a pretty neat trick you can use to tell which consorts can give quests. Consorts are coded in such a manner that when you go do their quest, you can expect to find them in the same area when you come back. In short, the game puts a leash on them so that they don't wander too far. It didn't take long for the game-breaking community to find a stunt with this knowledge. If you want to know which consorts are quest givers, just ask a bunch of them to follow you. Consorts are always eager to follow you, especially after you've worked up some land reputation. After walking for a while, note which consorts suddenly break from their group and walk back to where they came from. These consorts have a quest in store. They returned close to their spawning point because their quest doesn't allow them to be migratory. Note, just talking to a consort once is not enough to get a quest. Sometimes you have to navigate through dialogue options, bring up specific subjects, until a consort decides to lay a quest on your bum. Note, a consort that you identify as a quest giver might not be ready to give you the quest yet. Most of the time, it just means you lack land reputation. Note, if a consort does not want to give you a quest yet, it's advised to give it some random item from your Sylladex. You can be sure that the little guy will hold on to that item like there's no tomorrow. This will mark the consort. When you see it later, it'll help you remember that this guy has something in store for you. Be careful. Don't hand out the original items. You may lose track of an item that turns out to be part of a fetch quest, or which is used as a totem key. More on this later. To be on the safe side, alchemize in advance some trinkets that you can sprinkle around consorts. If the gift is alchemized, then you always have access to the alchemical formula in your Athenium. Okay, quests. Have we talked about quests in Call yet?
We have. So, quests are technically part of the roleplay system. They're meant to be something that come about sort of organically, but I imagine we also need some to be bound to the land specifically. The third category of quest is obviously from the politics system. So effectively, we have roleplay quests, we have political story quests, and we have the actual quests of, you are doing X thing because the land needs it.
Okay. How should one come about quests?
Well, I imagine the scenarios are different. Land quests, I imagine, are discovery-based. You find them as you explore out your land. You find a new town, you get given them as you talk to people, or you see a dungeon and you know that's a place that you have to go. So, we have point of interest quests where you see a thing. There's two versions of point of interest quests. There's you see a place, like a dungeon, a weird forest. This is more exploration-based stuff, but it will lead to specific quests. But then there are you go to place and then an event happens because you reached place.
Okay,
so
yeah.
In that scenario, that's what would happen.
Thumbs up. Question, why are items that used to be in my room, or my buddy's room, flowing freely around our lands? You should collect these items. They have been integrated into the game structure. It is the reason why your house is invaded at the start of your SBURB adventure, to plunder these items. They will then be used for 3 different kinds of scenario. These items may become the object of fetch quests. Damn, those are easy. These items may become key items for unlocking dungeon entrances through the use of totem laves. Lastly, the game will often use these loot objects as the legendary relic of a dungeon. So let's say, for example, that a blank quest consists of going to a dungeon, fighting a boss, opening a chest, finding a legendary eldritch device, and bringing it back to a consort village. Let's say that your house was looted and your toothbrush was stolen. Well, the legendary eldritch device will be your toothbrush. So yeah, SBURB has a weird sense of humor. I like all 3 of these.
Yeah, it's very cute.
I think dungeon quests are just fetch quests with combat in them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
With combat and puzzles.
So I'm a big sort of proponent of quests being story, right? You often mix in gameplay with that, but effectively you want to tell a story with each quest, otherwise it's a poorly designed quest. Fetch quests by themselves are a little bit grindy, a little bit dull. You end up ignoring them after a while. But if there is a story reason to check it out, you're more likely to go and, fulfill a quest that you have agreed to.
Like Bleak Falls Barrow from Skyrim. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Skyrim content recently.
I see. I don't know if I would call that a good example, but sure.
What? Give you flashbacks? Are you traumatized by Blake Falls Barrow?
Blake Falls Barrow? Blake.
Yeah, that one, what is it, a Jeremy?
Yeah.
Where he's, like, screaming for something to get out of his head. That's a little bit what it's like.
Finally, the golden claw can be placed where it belongs.
In my house.
My house. Hashtag my house.
Hashtag.
Not my house.
Alright, question. Why should I bother with quests? Quests give you a special reward called a Revelosum. I wish I was making up that word, but that's the official term. The Revelosum is what happens when you clear a dungeon or complete a quest given by a consort. It's hard to describe, but it's basically like getting hit on the head with a hammer and discovering something new about yourself or your relationships with other people, and then being glad that you were hit on the head with that hammer even if it all kind of sucked. Yeah, that pretty much describes it. More importantly, the Revelosum is how you learn new special abilities related to your title or aspect. They just sort of pop in your head and once you mature up. Like, oh hey, I can do that. Not all quests allow you to learn new stuff, but they always help. Note, all SBURB players slowly and instinctively learn the grasp of their new abilities. Stress and emotional trauma can cause you to learn abilities faster. You don't need a Revelosum to learn something new. It's just that the Revelosum is like a short fast forward to zoom ahead of the maturity curve. How do we feel about the Revelosum?
I imagine we don't need it where we've got the roleplay system. This feels like a funny way of exploring something that happens in a game that pulls people into it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much it aligns with what we're setting up so far.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it's a really fun idea. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it is really funny. It's just that, like, I mean, you can do that in SBURB because SBURB is real and, you are the player. But, like, you can't do that very well in a video game aside from just, you have the thing, like, pop up, which is not interesting.
Exactly. JD, have a peek real quick.
Have a peek? Should I show this on stream?
Sure.
Hold on, let me watch the stream. Okay, I'm gonna pop this out. Trauma-powered magic. Needs more lumps.
It does need more lumps. Hang on.
Oh, Okay, so do you know how you kept talking about the eye lumps? Or were those in reference to eyeballs or just eye bags?
Eye bags.
Okay,
Or
I still don't
eyeballs.
understand what they are then.
Don't worry.
Me when I see boobs.
It's just it's a lump that we place. It's a lump that we place under the eyes, so that when we put a 2D thing on top of it, it's got something that we can wrap that plane around effectively.
Oh, but we can't wrap stuff around planes without unless it was a custom shader. But even then, it would have to be like on the plane.
We just make a plane. We make a separate plane, like a different mesh.
Oh right, you just rotate it around. You don't mean like shrink wrap it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. Me when I see boobs, awooga.
Can we not shrink wrap it though?
No, we can't shrink wrap a mesh to another mesh. I mean,
why not?
Okay, technically, that is how decals work. So we could make the eye a decal. I just don't really know how that works. Hi. What is in your
If we can do that, that would make stuff a lot more easy.
Are you going back downstairs?
Yeah.
Can you give me a refill on water and chip?
Sure.
Thank you.
Women eat hot chip and lie.
Women eat hot chip and lie.
They're not. They're not hot. Sorry.
I mean, they're sour cream. Sour cream's pretty hot.
Girl, it's mostly cheddar.
Cheddar.
Points. Mouse.
Squeak, squeak.
The Dodent.
The Dodent. Men eat mint chip and honest. Thank you, Gab.
Mint chip and honest.
I've never met an honest man.
I've never met a man.
If you have met an honest man, he won't be a man for long.
Yeah.
Men don't exist.
Men don't
They're a lie
exist.
made up by the government.
The intro song to Serial Experience. That was very helpful.
Question. Okay, I had the quest to bring an item to a consort, and I have it right here in my hand, and the consort doesn't want to take it. This is a common source of confusion to new players. The game doesn't want you to give the item to the consort. It wants you to hand out the capture log card of the item. However, consorts don't have Silodexes. When they take the card, it'll automatically turn back into an item. That's when the game script will perform a check and confirm that you completed the quest. Sometimes you may even have to take an item from the hands of a consort, turn it into a card, and give it back in order to officially complete a quest. SBURB's logic can be so anal. I'm so glad we're not purposely implementing bugs like this. This just sounds annoying.
Same.
Just give them the item. Question. My escort missions keep bugging out and auto-failing for some reason. Bug. That's because you're trying to cheat the system by capture logging the consort and keeping it within the safety of your Silodex. As soon as you put the consort in your inventory, the game's logic fizzles because it doesn't know where the consort is anymore. The game will make you auto-fail the mission because it can't find anywhere near you the consort that you were supposed to be escorting. Remember that being able to pick up the consort is a game oversight. Sorry bro, but it just doesn't work with escort missions. Let the small guy walk on foot as intended. Note, if you get into a tight spot and you're surrounded by doodly monsters, it's a lot better to grab the consort in your inventory, auto-fail the mission, and then run for it rather than to just abandon the consort behind and let it become a monster's lunch. Question. One of my quests is broken to all hell. Bug. If a quest mentions pumpkins anywhere in this description dialogue, skip it. All quests involving pumpkins are inherently broken. Question. I'm not being referred by the right title in quest dialogues. Bug. Quest scripts seem to have been written very early during SBURB's conceptualization, and some of the title aspects don't match with the final versions. For example, they call the player of Rage the hero of Wrath, or they call the player of Flow the hero of Fire. Stuff like that. Question. A consort just offered me a quest, and right after I said yes, it said never mind and turned around. What was that about? Bug. This is caused by losing land reputation, generally due to harming a consort. The game unlocks quest dialogues when you reach the right amount of land reputation, but forgets to de-unlock them if you lose any. This ends up creating situations where you have access to the quest dialogue, but the consort won't let you accept the quest. If you lose land reputation, it's better to immediately work on your atonement quests. There are easy stuff that all consorts can give you. You just have to clean up their village and make a small poem that says how sorry you are. I like the concept of the atonement quests.
I do too. It reminds me of Rossetti from Animal Crossing.
Yeah, like you can't increase your land reputation beyond its current highest ever reached amount, but you can just do something that's really harmful and then do a lot of atonement quests to get it back to where it was originally. Question. I'm being offered a quest by a consort, and it started telling me instructions and now it just keeps repeating the instructions forever. Is that a dialogue bug? Actually, no, it's not a bug. You're probably just repeating, yes, I know, yes, yes, over and over, and you end up saying yes when the consort begins to say, do you want me to repeat? It's a classic. Just take a chill pill and let the concert complete its sentences before you answer. Alright, fun one. Chapter 6D, Dungeons, Dungeons, Dungeons. Question. What do you do inside a dungeon? You find fragments of poems and shit that makes up puzzles to open secret passages. You find doors and keys and chests and enemies. You avoid booby traps and you jump on platforms. You move stone columns to make staircases appear, stuff like that. Oh, and there's usually a mini-boss at the end protecting some stupid loot, your own stolen stuff, that is probably going to be hella anticlimactic unless you have a flair for irony. Question. Okay, cool. Now how do you enter these dungeons? I'm in front of a dungeon entrance, and it's a stone arch. It looks weird and complicated and is closed. How do I open it? Okay, stop. I could make a million billion FAQ questions here, but that would be dumb. Instead, I'm just going to put the fact thing on pause and do a small exposition on how a dungeon entrance works. First, let's look at the basic layout of a dungeon entrance. Some big cave entrance thing with a spirograph plus aspect symbol above a door, and then like 4 chambers. There are 3 different zones of interest here. Above the doorway, you will recognize the spirograph and your aspect symbol inside of it. There is question mark stuff on either side of it. There's also question mark stuff on either side of the door. This chunk translates to 3 zones, something like this. Who on top of the door, when beside the who's, and then the lock beside the doors. Let's see what these 3 zones mean. The who zone. There are 2 symbols of interest here. A huge spirograph. You're familiar with the symbol. It's a SBURB gate, and it's the first thing you see when you open this FAQ. Well, the symbol also stands for the word enter in game talk. Oh, like enter, like enter.
Ah.
If the spirograph is glowing faintly, then you have cleared all prerequisites. You can enter. The most basic dungeons you'll find near your dwelling spire will have no when or lock zone. Therefore, you just need to stand in front of them and the aspect plus spirograph will glow, followed by the dungeon door opening. Your aspect symbol. It's your very own symbol and it's inside the spirograph. It represents who's allowed inside the dungeon. By default, it is the owner of the land where you find the dungeon. In some cases, there will be another symbol next to yours inside the spirograph. This means we're looking at a multiplayer dungeon. The door will only open if you bring your friends with the corresponding aspects. There are very few multiplayer dungeons, but they are about 3 times bigger than normal dungeons. They are very worth it. The when zone. This looks like ornamental motifs, but it's a hidden requirement zone for when you can open this dungeon. There are 2 types of requirements hidden in the decoration. The land reputation. The more land familiars you see in the decoration of a dungeon entrance, the more this dungeon entrance has a higher requirement in land reputation. You'll only be allowed inside the dungeon when you clear this requirement. So, for example, let's say that your land familiar is a dragonfly, and there are 8 of them in the decoration. Now let's say when you come near the gate, your aspect symbol starts glowing and 4 dragonflies glow as well. This means you are satisfied of being the right player, but you only have half of the land reputation you need. Simple as that. Oh, and if you start seeing consort motifs, these are worth 7 land familiars. I really, really like these, like, dungeon entrances. These are so cool. This is a really, really, like, a good peak dungeon entrance design. Like, a good gameplay design. The acts.
Agreed.
Aside from showing consorts and land familiars in various states of being silly, the decorations can also represent mythological scenes. These scenes correspond to things you do in the main storyline. You need to perform the acts presented in the scene to be allowed inside by the gate. So for example, if you see a small stick figure stabbing a large monster, it represents the slaying of the beast and you need to have killed your denizen. The lock zone. We finally come into the fun part. Everything before was just about satisfying paperwork. This part is the manual aspect of opening the goddamn door in front of you. There are 3 types of lock. The puzzle lock. Well, you should get the idea from the name. This lock consists of some kind of puzzle you have to decipher in order to unlock the dungeon entrance. This can be pretty much anything. Sometimes you have to say the answer out loud, sometimes you have to push parts of the puzzle. The musical lock. This lock consists of a music sheet engraved in the dungeon entrance. You must play the song to open the door. Simple as that. If you're one of those players that don't have an instrument because you vocalize your stuff, you'll find a shade and a groove there. You'll have to improvise something in order to satisfy the lock. That's so cool! That is so cool!
I love that.
I haven't read And It Don't Stop in a while, but like I love some of the mechanics that they have put in it. And the fact that it also like has been put in the what is Dirk's modus? It's not hash map. Hash table? Hash table. Where you have the shaded columns and groove rows. The totem lock. The most common form of lock, like 60 to 80% of your dungeons will have this type of lock. Are a bit more complicated than the two above, so I might as well burst out some sweet ASCII art. This is what your totem lock will look like. The things in the and squares are engraved pictures of objects. They are objects that used to belong to you or your friends, or they were looted after you entered the medium. Just under the framed engraving of an object, there's a deep tubular hole, which I've represented here with a shitty hashtag. Sorry, I'm like $sign, pound sign. No, that was close. $sign, hashtag. There we go. To unlock these dungeon entrances, you need to find the items in the pictures which are scattered through your lands. Then you bring them to your dwelling spire, carve totems out of the items, and bring these back and plug them in the holes as if you're loading torpedoes into submarines launchers. When you plug the right totem, the picture will glow briefly. Once you satisfy all the totem locks, the entrance can open. Okay, so I've known that I wanted to do the totem locks for a while because the totem locks are so cool. I did not realize before how important the like looting of your stuff is from the first wave of imps is in this AU, and it solves the entire issue that I had of, well, if you just have all your stuff in your house, can you just make the stuff immediately? But no, if all your stuff has been looted, then you have to do dungeons before you can enter this specific dungeon.
Yeah, we've also got the fact that, like, even if there is stuff that hasn't been looted from your house, like, you know, it's very specifically not everything you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got, like, two things working for us there.
Two things?
We got two things working for us there. We've got the fact that imps, you know, loot your shit, take stuff out. So we've got that to remove, like, functionality things, so your bits, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Pogs being able to stop you from getting, like, endgame gear.
Yeah. I think for the locks specifically, we don't have to worry about we shouldn't worry about Pogs unless it's like super endgame stuff, and even then it should only be a couple Pogs for the sake of simplicity. So like it should generally only be represented by a generic kind of object, like a hammer.
Agreed. That way you can answer it in a lot more different ways. Like, you know, Tears of the Kingdom, with its fuse mechanic, had a lot of moments like that, where you were given a clearly, like... so sorry. A clearly, like, laid out scenario, and there's loads of ways you could solve it. So you just mix together what you've got to solve it. But because all of the things are simple, you know, you could make any of them work.
You could also just brute force that with your fun. So if you make all, like, however many billion of items you can possibly, like, generic items you could possibly make, you could just stuff all of them in your Athenium and then have your server player deposit the right one in front of you.
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Shall I keep reading?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. How to translate the who, when, and lock zones. There's a trick to simplify all of this. Just treat the requirements as one long sentence. Let's say you find a dungeon archway. It's right in front of you. You scrutinize it for 10 seconds. Let's say that this dungeon entrance has your aspect symbol on it, and it has a lot of land familiars in the decoration. It has a scene of yourself killing your denizen, and it has 2 totem locks. This reads as, "Come forward, player X, achiever of great deeds and slayer of the denizen. Open these locks and enter." You simply have to make the sentence come true in order to open the dungeon. Imagine that each part of the sentence starts glowing when it becomes true. This is basically what the door does. The engravings start glowing and humming softly for each of the conditions that you fulfill. They even start glowing in the order of the sentence. The aspect symbol will always glow first. Spirograph Enter will always glow last right before the stone door slowly opens before you. Therefore, the most important thing you should remember is that unless all of the engraved decorations are glowing, then it's pointless to mess with the lock. As you progress, the decoration/requirement zone will stretch all the way to the ground, something like this. Oh, I see. I see. That's cool. So the thing expands the more stuff is required. Needless to say, a decoration like that will ask for a lot of land, reputation, and acts. If it's a multiplayer dungeon, then each player will tally together their achievements in order to open the door. And there you go. This concludes your exposition on how dungeon entrances work. Now you're ready to risk your life repeatedly to get junk that is already yours that you don't really want back. Question: any bugs? Oh, sure, yeah, lots of bugs. There are always bugs. Shit, let's get a list in here. The symbol of the player of Void does not want to appear in SBURB. Where the Void symbol is supposed to be, there's always a smooth surface. Therefore, the identification is completely skipped for the dungeons of the player of Void. Anybody can enter the dungeons of his or her land. Additionally, the game can fail to generate a multiplayer dungeon involving the player of Void. You can tell because the aspect symbol will not be centered in the middle of the spirograph. The dungeon entrance will work as normal, and the dungeon will still be 3 times bigger. The player of Mist can count as a substitute player for multiplayer dungeons because of the identification bugs related to the Mist aspect. For example, if a player entrance supports the symbols of the player of Life and the player of Dreams, either of these players can enter the dungeon along with the player of Mist, which will fill in the place of the missing person. The player of Space can easily glitch out dungeons if he/she uses spatial manipulation to bypass the dungeon entrance. If you teleport, or dig, into a dungeon without using the door script, then the dungeon will not be activated. No enemy, no traps, no bosses, and no Revel Awesome. Kinda defeats the point of dungeon diving, if you ask me. Musical locks are supposed to have their notes glow progressively as you perform the music, but sometimes there's a graphical bug where they glow out of order. It seems to happen when the player of Rain is around. It's probably due to the interferences caused by the ability All Music to My Ears. The totem lock is coded to softly eject totem keys that are incorrectly placed. However, this feature will not work if you try to use the totem lathe of an empty Silodex card. The totem will stay stuck inside the hole. You'll need some kind of suction tool to get it out. Or you can try to use your nail to pry it out of the hole, but seriously, this is just begging to break your nail, and that shit hurts. The player of Rage has this ability where he/she yells so hard at a dungeon entrance that it'll open regardless of requirements. However, there's a major bug if the player does that to an entrance with a totem lock that already has totems in it. The totems will shoot out like ballistic missiles. So stay clear from these holes before you unleash your rage. That's the stupidest way to die. For you players of time out there, the game performs a check on your current self that stands for a dungeon entrance when calculating land reputation and whether you accomplished an act. So if you slay the denizen and go back in time before it happened, dungeon entrances that require the slaying of the denizen will still open for you. There's a slight graphical bug and the motifs won't glow properly, but the door will open. Question: I don't find a lot of dungeons on my land and they all have a low requirement. How come? Your land will only have about a 10% of its dungeons when you start the game. The other 90% of dungeons will appear after you've completed the terraforming phase of your game, which will remodel your land. So while you might get addicted to dungeon diving, you have to jump on the main storyline eventually. Question: I found something that looks like a dungeon entrance, but it's on the ground, completely horizontal, and in the middle of a large circular plaza. Is that a dungeon? Actually, that's a tower. It's a rare and fun type of dungeon. The dungeon entrance works pretty much the same, except it's circular and on the ground. They usually have totem locks, about 8 to 10 of them placed in a large circle. Once you've fulfilled all the requirements of the dungeon entrance, go to the middle of the plaza, get on the floor, and touch/punch your aspect symbol. The plaza structure will then zoom into the sky with you on top of it until you stand at the top of a huge tower. The staircase will reveal itself and you'll have nowhere to go but down. It's kind of like this. ASCII art of Guy ascending. It works like the opposite of what you would expect from a tower, since you go from top to bottom. Needless to say, once you activate this dungeon, you have to commit. The mini-boss is at ground level. Beating it will open the passage to leave the tower. Once you step outside of the dungeon, the above-ground dungeon is going to go back into the ground. It's going to rumble really loudly as if it's pretending to crumble, but really it's just sliding back to where it came from. The special effect is cheap. Note, it's a secret, but you can beat towers twice. Once a tower is back into the ground, after you beat it, the staircase to go down is still there. However, this time, the tower below the ground is reset and placed into hard mode. It'll have an especially strong mini-boss at the bottom, and it'll branch out into a cave system that is related to the underworld part of the main storyline. You can do sequence breaking by going down early, but really it's all kind of dangerous if you're not ready. The table of contents link for the roleplay system is bugged, so watch out for that when you get to it. Is like actually bugged? The roleplay system. Yes, it is bugged. What does the tower loot? It gives you loot and probably a Revelosum. Special abilities. This is what? Oh no, this is the right one. Special abilities. So is it just on the previous page? Oh, it is just on the previous page. Okay. Awesome ASCII art. Yeah, no, the towers are really cool. I can't wait to info dump to Jack Clip about this.
I am here.
Oh,
I
hi.
heard it. Sorry, I was just having a conversation with my partner.
That's fine. Okay, stuff that I want. The terraforming, like completely remodeling your land, sounds awesome. And cool
I agree.
for
I was gonna say
replayability.
I agree. It's one that I think is basically a requirement for how we're running a lot of things as well. Specifically the politics system. Before we spoke about the quest with the denizen either involving you, because we didn't want it to be you had to fight the denizen, because that means the choice is like not a thing, right? So I imagine like the act of allying with the denizen is a big part of like being able to terraform your land.
Yeah, agreed.
Or defeating them.
Or defeating
either
them.
or.
What do you think about the tower dungeons? I really like these tower dungeons.
I really like them. I would imagine that we would be creating a few different types of dungeons anyway. So I'd be happy to take inspiration from that and create something a little similar, but we might end up creating a lot more of our own unique ones.
Ooh, Gam says that the terraforming reminds him of Terraria hard mode, which yeah, I think that's a good metaphor or just description of the thing. You said you did want to take inspiration from the underworld part, right? At least, and as far as you've heard it so far.
I really liked what you had told me about it. I would love to hear more about it, because I don't know enough to say yes or no currently. Do me a favor though, have a little peeky.
Have a little peek. I can have a little peek. I just have to move chat. Here, chat. I'm putting you on stream. Get out. There you go.
Hang on a moment. Let me just grab these eyes out a little bit because I pushed them too far back. And grab this middle section. Give them a proper eye lump.
If I had to say something, I think the muzzle is too pointed. Like
keep in mind, this is keep in mind this is not going to be rendered the same way. Right now it's being rendered with shadow, but we're not going to have that. I imagine it will be a bit more like. Is there a better version?
Yeah, do matte cap.
Flat. Okay, matte cap. Not that one. I just need. Not that either. Come on, give me a decent one. Is there a better version of this? No. Okay. Well.
2 MLP, Gam says.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I
think you can see the rim lighting a little bit at least. What
I do
it's
like
for.
that, yeah.
This is like what I am making it the shape for. Like, because it really feels very like Homestucky to have that style of rim lighting, especially at certain angles.
The shader looks very Lethal Company. I mean, yeah, it's toon shading. I just think the like top like nose part of the muzzle is too angular from the like the cheeks need to come out more.
That is fair. Like this bit.
Yeah, like that bit. Right there, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Make it a bit rounder around the nose too.
I am thumbs upping this. This looks awesome.
Sweet.
Ooh, having the nose poke out a little bit.
Yeah.
Just slightly. That's good. I like this.
And like, you know, I want to create primarily a base that can be reshaped to show a bunch of different like personalities. So like this is going to be the same for everyone, but like moved about. And I don't know how to do that. We should probably look up how that tech that we found actually does it, because otherwise we're going to have to mess with blend shapes.
The sim stuff, no, that's really easy to do. You just have a vertex shader that just looks up the UV coordinate and then moves it by the XYZ, you know.
Oh, brilliant.
Red, green, blue coordinate. Probably in normal space for...
Will it play nice with shaders?
Yeah. The vertex shaders, which just give you the shape of the thing, run before the fragment shaders, which give you the color of the thing.
Makes sense.
So the shape stuff, because like all like bone rigging stuff, that's all that it doesn't physically like reform the mesh. It just has a shader, a vertex shader on it that makes it look like the mesh is being reshaped.
I see.
At least in games. In Blender, it might actually reshape the mesh, probably because of modifiers and stuff. But yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. Back to reading.
Sweet.
Oop, hold on, I have to pop back into Discord, pop back into the channel, expand chat. By tech, there's no one here. In the Discord chat, anyway. Okay. Question. The mini-boss you're supposed to find at the end of a dungeon? The mini-boss is a blank template that is applied to a SBURB aspect. It creates randomly generated bosses. They always have stupid names like Duplablaze Comagma or Mega Cool Permafrost. Oh, Comagma. Or Multi-Space Delocate. I like the description of mini-bosses. It's a shape-shifting boss that technically doesn't count as an underling. It's just some nondescript bad guy. That's 3 forms. Some kind of genie, a huge lion thing, and a big bird phoenix thing. Once you kill it, you receive a free Revelawesome. Huzzah. Oh, and you also get to loot the best shizzle out of the dungeon, which is your own lousy stuff. By the way, the mini-boss has a pretty basic attack pattern. When it turns into a genie, it's going to cast basic abilities, passive/active, and try to pummel you into the ground. When it turns into a lion thing, it can't cast abilities, but has a huge buff to combat stats, so just run. Use range, kind, or special abilities. When it turns into a bird phoenix, that is the weakest defense, but the highest offense. The bird always tries to power up a really strong offensive ability when it has a chance. So get in its face and wreck its shit to disrupt the casting. Then it's probably going to turn either into genie form or cat form. Rinse, repeat, blah blah blah. Really, this shit gets old after your 3rd or 4th boss. Note, if you want to abscond from a fight with a mini-boss, wait until it turns into the genie form. The cat and bird are hard to abscond from and will pursue you, but the genie will cross its arm and laugh loudly. That's because all 3 forms have different AI subroutines. Is this like fan-made? Yes, this is fan fiction. It's good fan fiction. but it is fan fiction. All right, that was Dungeons. Dream self mechanics. I am happy. Fliniction. Close enough. Chapter 8, The Dreaming. Well, Chapter 7. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, that's the rebel, right? The dreaming is like a side quest that SBURB spends way too much time on developing. Ah, so like 3 of the quests in Skyrim. I understand. The Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood. Oh, don't get me wrong. Frolicking in the dream world is all proper and dandy at first. Heck, it's bloody fascinating because of the obvious glitch that lets dream selves wake up before the game even starts. It's just that you'll get sick of dreaming eventually. You're going to realize that you spend your entire days on quests, dungeons, adventures, and weird plot shit, and then when you try to sleep, it happens all over again. You're going to ask yourself, when do I ever get a break? And the answer will whisper itself into your ear. Never. The game will never stop. Dream self mechanics. Question. There's an eclipse happening on my dream moon. What does that mean? Critical threat. It means you don't go flying outside and keep your dream ass on the ground. Otherwise, it's just begging for corruption or eye damage, depending on your moon. Question. Our group of friends got assigned to different dream moons. Aren't the moons in competition? I don't want to fight my buddies. Can we get transferred or something? This is a common misconception. SBURB players will all belong to the same side, quote-unquote. Your moon doesn't really matter. You cannot transfer to another moon, nor is there any reason to. The big argument about which one is best, Dirce or Prospect, is just a matter of preferences. Question. Oh yeah, then which one do you think is best, Dirce or Prospect? Whichever moon you're not on. Question. My dream self isn't awake. How do I get it to wake up? The lack of dream self locomotion is linked to a weak sleep ratio. There's a minimum sleep ratio to clear before the dream self feature is activated the first time. However, you can't just yell at people to sleep better. Being relaxed doesn't work like that. The usual method of awakening one's dream self is to face, often unpleasant, things that one has not before. You know when you go through a hurdle and then you're all phew after you're done? Same principle. This is just a small boost you need to break the dream self sleep ratio minimum requirement. Note, alternatively, for the purpose of waking someone that really sucks at sleeping, you can abuse the bug where you stack land beds on top of each other to get a ridiculously high sleep ratio when you sleep on them. That's funny. I like that. I like that bug.
I feel like we should include some funny bugs, because that's always, like, a charming part of SBURB.
Yeah. Like stacking beds on top of themselves in order to get better sleep. Princess and the Pea.
Why would she do that?
Why would she pee the bed? That's a
Why would she pee the bed?
Question. I want to do cool things with my dream self. I really do, but when I try, then it's all a blur. I keep getting sidetracked and I end up laughing and eating pies and dancing with carapaces or something. Your focus as a dream self is weakened by low quality sleep. See Chapter 8 on the Chapter 28 on the sleep ratio and ways to improve it. Question. My dream self is getting lost in some pretty damn weird dark area. Critical threat. The dream self of the Void player has this dangerous glitch where it slips between dimensions, or something equally dope like that. To be honest, we still have no idea where it is going, but it looks like bad news. You should ameliorate your sleep ratio as fast as possible to gain better control of your dream self's activity. There is a limit to how lost someone should be able to get. What does ameliorate mean?
I don't know.
Is there a search Google for ameliorate? To make a bad or unpleasant situation better, more bearable, or more satisfactory. Okay.
Ameliorate.
Question. I can't access my Silodex / kind abstratus / view my pork hollow / change clothes with my dream self. Your dream self cannot do these things. Your meta actions as a dream self are very limited. However, it should be pointed out that you can strike with your dream self. You're welcome to give an uncanny beatdown to enemy agents that infiltrate your moon. However, there is some kind of bug here because your dream self can use its body kind abstratus, fist kind, foot kind, etc., even though you don't have them. In fact, it's pretty much as if your dream self is strafing without any abstratus. This shit is kind of weird. Note, not being able to modify... I love the implication that that strafing without an abstratus is weird.
It's so funny.
It's funny. No, not
It's the idea of people in this world being like, how do you do that?
Must be a bug with real life. And then the other bit of I assume all of like the dream selves will have like access to the same strife kinds, and like in SBEPIS, the dream self will access the same strife kinds and fetch modi that your wake self currently has equipped.
I don't think we need to do that. I think it would be fun to let players customize their dream self as well, separately.
All right, so they start with the same like default like fetch modus.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can change it optionally.
Okay.
Because like I know that some people would be like, that's a lot of work to set up character. But I'm gonna be so real. If we're setting this up to have like roleplay value stuff, I've seen how people play Baldur's Gate. They get really into the Dream Guardian. I am one of those people. That's like a character that doesn't matter.
I have not played Baldur's Gate enough to see the Dream Guardian, besides customizing it.
It's in the character creator.
Yeah, no, I've done that. I haven't done anything else.
Fair enough.
I'm like, oh, cool,
that's about all you
second
need to know.
Character that it's in my dreams. I'm gonna make him real hot.
Yeah, that's what everyone does. And from experience, from my testing with non-homestucks with that side project, they really love setting up like a fancy separate outfit for their other character.
That's real cute. I like that.
Right.
They definitely shouldn't not have these mechanics, because how would you like play the game if your regular self dies?
Yeah.
Gam is going to make me like explode because he said Baldur's Gate is too hard and Mugenics is better. These are like not comparable games. These are entirely separate
genres.
things. I always just spam the random button until I get someone funny for the dream character in PG3. That's good. I like this. I like this concept. I want someone with pink with green hair. I think they explain later when you die and become your dream self counts as a real player. Yeah, now, makes sense. They are not both based on I'm going to explode.
Mugenics is not based on D&D. Come on, Gam. It being dice-based does not make it based on the same thing.
The cats also have a bunch of classes that are, like, common with D&D classes. Like, you have the rogue cat as a class you can take.
Okay, but I'm guaranteeing it does not play like a rogue from D&D.
No, it does not.
SMH.
Question. Question. I can't. Nope. Wait. I did that one. Question. I tried to use SBURB gates with my dream self and I woke up. Bug. The teleportation coding of SBURB is pretty flimsy and glitches the sleep ratio, making it fall to 0 for an infinitely small fraction of a second. As short as it may be, the game will wake you up as a result of this. SBURB gates, transmaterializers, world walking, and the space player command home free all cause this bug and will wake the owner of the target dream self. The teleportation abilities of the player of space do not replicate this bug for some reason. What was world walking? That was from the gate fact. What was world walking?
Not sure.
Here, can I pull open my search history? That's my bookmarks. Wait, where's my sidebar? What? Oh, there it is. I just had it closed for some reason. Nope. History. Make any mic sound expensive. No, I want yesterday. SBURB gate fac. And it overwrote my current page. Okay. What was roadblocking? The player command called through the weary wayward days. Oh, it's the thing where you travel from one gate to any other place you've already been.
Ah, I see.
Through a player command. Question. Okay, so I met my friend's dream self. Is it me or dream self personalities are pretty weird? Dream selves are a sort of alter ego, like a projection of how people want to be or would be if nothing in the world could bother them. They aren't really the same person as a real self. Dream selves have a tendency towards two extremes. Either they play around like bastards on a sugar high, or they just stand there and blink. If you want to interact with your friends, it is heavily advised to meet them dream self to dream self and real self to real self. If you mix things up, then it gets weird and don't work too well. Question. My friends say I'm already awake in my dream room. I don't remember anything like that. Maybe it's my evil clone that's in my bed, or the dream self of my evil clone? Bug. In a specific fork of the sleep ratio, their dream self meets the minimum requirement to be active, but their owner remains oblivious to their dream activities. There are even cases of dream self sleepwalking, or sleep flying in this case. In short, you're in dream denial. You will eventually wake up from pretending to be sleeping, and when awake when sleeping. Wait, I'll wake up from pretending to be sleeping when awake when sleeping. Yeah, this dream self stuff gets kind of confusing. Question. I tried to fly away from my moon and, well, I can't. I am stimming with my lamp. I'm going to grab my fidget spinner. One moment. My ADHD is freaking out. There we go. Question. I tried to fly away from my dream moon, and, well, I can't. There is an invisible boundary surrounding your dream moon, which denotes its range of influence. There are specific rules to leaving a moon's influence. You are required to finish the quest, earning your wings, before being allowed to fly away from your dream moon. For, if one reason or another, your dream self ends up somewhere that is not your moon, and you have not earned your wings, you will have to walk on foot. Note, do you see those faraway big letters that say Durs and Prospect? That's about the limit of the dream moon sphere of influence. Note, this does not affect...
the idea that they float in the sky like in Earthsea. Thanks for playing.
That's good.
I think we do that.
Happens. Yeah. Note, this does not affect a person that is revived as a dream self. This new body counts as a real self in every way. How do you want to handle dream self flying?
As in?
Do they only fly on the dream moons, or like, do they fly everywhere?
I mean, I think they fly everywhere, but we put stuff in between them and their planet that makes it hard for them to just jump off without at least having the, skill to do so. We've got the SBEPIS sphere, so, there's a ring of meteorites on the outside. We could easily put stuff that's dangerous between Dursites. I think we could even say this is like a big boon that Prospitians get, an easier journey. But we can say that maybe Dursite agents are sort of camping the field to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
As Gam said, Durs pirates that hunt the dreamers.
Broke kissing on the Hollywood sign, woke kissing on the Durst Prospect title.
So true.
You fly like you're being pulled around with a fizz gun in Gary's mod. No, Rox, you were there for Girls 6. The flying's gonna be like the dragon mod. What's the mod called? Hold on. Let me pull up in my where's the SBEPIS backlog? No. Dragon Survival. Yes, Dragon Survival. Thank you. It's so good. It's so good. Okay. I worked on Mindset Universe. The Tome of the Ancient and Sealed Tome. Okay, so the Sealed Tome is, I don't remember if it's loot from a chest or if it is you buy it from a consort. But you do one of those, and then you have to like use it to break one lock, and then you have to get either your server player or your client player, I don't remember which. They have to use it to break the other lock. and then it'll give you then you can use that to alchemize the eye of the denizen that leads you to your quest bed. But if you're in a single player session, you don't have a server or client, and therefore you can't break the tome. So you have to manually find your quest bed without the ender eye.
JD, look.
Look? Hold on, I can look.
The placement is a bit off at the moment, but that's fine. Then I grab the bottom lip and I go. Power.
Okay. Yeah, Mindstuck Universe, it's like a thing in there to be the whole, this is why you don't play single player SBURB, but also Mindstuck in general does not incentivize multiplayer SBURB. So like, shrug. Alright, question. My friend's dream self suddenly popped like a bubble and vanished. Not a bug. Your friend woke up and his dream self was not in a dream location. Only bed objects and the sphere of influence of a dream moon count as dream location. If you wake up and your dream self is not in either of these things, it will vanish and go back to the last bed object you visited. The bed effectively saves your location, and you start your progress from there next time you go to sleep. I like this idea. This explains the whole, like, John disappearing and losing the rings bit in Homestuck.
True. I like that. It
like
also means that we can
stealing this. Also means what?
No, you said it, and then I was like, hang on, that's just what she said. I'm not gonna repeat
Awesome.
it as if it was my idea.
Where is my sister? I asked her for some water, and she has not come back yet. This is so sad.
Disgraceful.
Whoever's playing with the emotes, I am going to explode you. Question, what are bed objects? Anything that looks like a bed or that you use to intend to sleep in it. You can even alchemize beds if you want. You'll need a fair bit of man grit to move them around, so it's not that useful. Besides, there are various bed abstractions in SBURB which can be used for dream purposes as well as for ameliorating your sleep ratio. Note, not sure if these are bugs or not, but the following objects are considered bed objects. Bathtubs, ball pits, furniture forts, very large plushies, and the real self of other players. Yes, as soon as your dream self is clinging to another player, then it won't be recalled to its last bed. Clinging to other dream selves don't count. I don't know what that's from, but that's really funny, and I really like that.
Roxy clinging to Dirk.
Yes. Okay. Question, why bring my dream self away from my moon? There are several reasons. For a start, if you die, then you can only auto-revive if your dream self is reasonably close. If you die on your land and your dream self is on his dream moon, there is no frickin' way that you'll reach your body in time. Secondly, you may want to do something that the community calls dream scouting. That is when you bring your dream self to your land to check out the geography. Most game abstractions, including underlings, are oblivious to dream selves. They act as if you aren't there and will not attack them. Pretty much only carapaces, players, sprites, and the denizen can see dream selves. Yet you could explore your land in relative safety. I also like this idea. This is a cool idea.
I have mixed feelings about it. That feels like a difficulty setting.
Like an easier difficulty setting?
Yeah.
I see. If I don't have a bed object, where can my dream self be returned? If you do not have a save bed upon leaving your dream moon and waking up, or if the current checkpoint is destroyed, The dream self will return at the default starting point. This is a dream room at the top of your dream spire. If this location is destroyed, WTF, then the dream self will be moved to the closest bed object. Question, I tried to touch my dream self/real self, and holy schmoly, what the hell just happened? If you are in physical contact with your dream self or real self, the other you will open its eyes and both of you will be awake at the same time. This feels pretty damn weird. This is actually not a bug, but a game feature. There is an important carapace ceremony that is initialized by seeking audience with the queen with both your dream self and real self. Just make sure they keep holding hands because the whole thing will reset if you let go. Just for the love of everything, do not try to have a conversation with yourself. It is never a good idea. This is also really funny. I also like this idea. This is cool. Question, my dream self was already dead before the game even started. Bug. It's a normal part of the game that enemy agents will constantly try to assassinate your dream self. Remember, kids and fun. I do not remember the quote. What is the thing with kids and fun?
All those games with kids and fun or something like that. It's just saying, like, this is a game, try and enjoy it even though it fucking sucks.
Oh, okay. These minigames are not supposed to happen before the game actually begins, but sometimes they do anyway, especially in post-scratch worlds that didn't set up properly. In short, you may lose your dream self before it even wakes up. If that happens to you, remember, SBURB is a game of life, and life is not fair. Sucks to be you. If this kind of thing does happen, you may want to check up on the Prospect and Durst ARC agents to figure out exactly where the AI routine is getting overridden. The Prospect ARC agents. Interesting, interesting. PM and problem sleuth. Question, my dream self could do something that... What?
Exactly. That's all I said.
My dream self is doing something, can do something that other dream selves can't do. Is this normal? Yes, titles and aspects in SBURB bestow some unique twists to a dream self. Stuff like growing extra arms, turning invisible, or going through walls. See chapter 26 of the articles for a full list. I'm not sure we can really have this, considering that, like, you don't have... So you have your aspect upon entry, but not your class, right?
I mean, we could just bind it to aspect only.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Question, my dream self woke up for the first time, but is not in the dream room that people describe. It's in some sort of crypt. My dream self was lying on a slab. Critical threat. Oh boy, this isn't some rare stuff. When a dream self dies, carapaces will parade that shit, because it's their fetish, and they will place the body in a crypt. Carapaces can make a mistake, and in turn, a dream self that is comatose, not dead. This will cause the dream self to wake up in this crypt, if it ever does. This is a significant situation because the player crypt is normally off access. It houses some very important bed objects. Well, slabs in this case. See chapter 34 for more information on the player crypt and the crypt slabs. Chapter 7c. Carapaces. Question, what are these things? They are a door block word. They are uncanny brutal. And they are whack job sequitus. And they're obsessed with silly antics. That's what they are. Carapaces are reasonably bug-free game abstractions which are neutral for the most part. Question. Neutral for the most part. Not gonna lie, there's a bunch of them that want to kill you. There's always stuff that wants to kill you in SBURB. Carapaces come in two varieties, the black side and the white side. Their kingdom is at war, but this war only extends to two specific things. An official military contest taking place on the sky and battlefield, and an unofficial contest of the under-the-table sneaky tactics between special agents. The soldiers of the battlefield and the special agents are inherently hostile to dreamers not from their moon. I can imagine, like, shenanigans with Problem Sleuth being incredibly hostile, and, like, playing it up really, really hard. When they, like, see a Durst streamer, you know?
Same. I like the idea of, like, you know, not necessarily always having Prospectians be good for the player is my main thing that I really want.
Mm-hmm. Question, what are these special agents? Critical threat. They are agents employed by the ARC agent. They are dangerous and harmless at the same time. It's hard to explain. Most of the time, special agents have really stupid plans that look like they were taken out of a Saturday morning cartoon. Oh no, they're gonna put something that tastes bad in everyone's cake, stuff like that. And then sometimes they straight up kill people, including SBURB players. It's really hard to predict which way it's going to go. Hence, it is imperative that you watch out for special agents and stop them with a righteous dream self beatdown when you can. Besides, doing kung fu while flying is addictive as all hell. Question: how do I recognize special agents? Technically, all high-ranking officials of the Kingdom of Light and Darkness are called agents by the game. Special agent is a community term to refer to carapaces that have been invested with a mission by the Archagent. In order to recognize them, start by watching out for the wrongly colored carapaces. Yes, this is racial profiling, sue me. Next, check if they wear a symbol on their chest. Carapaces are preloaded to receive missions have a unique symbol on their chests. Agents without a symbol are harmless city workers or perhaps just a masked carapace. Ignore them. Finally, if a suspicious carapace has a pentagonal symbol or bears a police baton at his side, then it's also just a false alarm. This is just a judiciary. They are obsessed with applying the law to the letter, but harmless otherwise. If it's a carapace with a non-pentagon symbol, then that isn't where it's supposed to be. Then it's time to break out the smooth moves. Note, the most offensive feature of special agents is that they carry regiswords. Regiswords are ornamented black weaponry that have a large offensive bonus towards royalty. By the way, that includes you. Players are all princes and princesses of their dream moons. Regiswords are important things. You want to beat up special agents in order to recover them. They will be useful to alchemize into your weaponry when you want to confront the carapace bosses, queens or kings. No, there is an infamous infinite regisword glitch. The game always default spawns a regisword on the Archagent if he doesn't have one on his person. This leads to the Durst Archagent having a habit of distributing a regisword to everybody that comes at his office. I think the NPCs also using game bugs is really funny.
I do too. I like it being something that we reserve for commanders, though.
Yeah.
Like a sort of higher degree of awareness.
Agreed. Question. Is it me, or do I never see prospect special agents around? Bug. There are 3 carapaces preloaded to receive special missions from an Archagent leader. There are 4 carapaces that are scripted to spawn as an inseparable team of friends with the BFF AI subroutine. They are the one responsible for doing special agent shenanigans. However, the shenanigan AI variable of the prospect special agent is glitched and set at 0. So they're always off doing bullshit. That's really funny. So
It is.
Problem Sleuth is just off doing other not relevant shenanigans.
Hey, look.
I'm looking. Bah. Ah. Teeth.
Teeth.
Ooh. Question. Why does everyone warn me about prototyped carapaces? Critical threat. They naturally come in 2 flavors, the king and queen. 1 for each kingdom. The official final boss of the game is the Black King. Since it's supposed to be the last boss of SBURB, you can imagine it's mad strong. Well, the queen is 1 billion times stronger. You know those RPGs where there's always a hidden boss stronger than the official final boss? It's something like that. These 2 bosses are characterized by the fact they show prototypical characteristics. Now here's the reason why there's a flashing critical threat notice here. The bullshit power level of the king and queen is tied to a scepter and ring object respectively. Any carapace can obtain these items, often as a result of shenanigans of special agents. Even worse, the game programs a lot of carapaces with anti-royal sentiment so that they may end up taking the place of the final boss. Heck, even the Durst Archagent has a high anti-royal subroutine. Whoever made SBURB probably thought this was a cute way to spice things up and add variety to the game. You know, make the final boss a little more unique between sessions. The problem is, only the king and queen units are programmed with non-interference so that they don't abuse their power. They are forced to either stay at the Sky and Skirmishes or in the royal castle. This code is not transferred, like it should, by the scepter and ring objects. Carapaces who come by them are called a scepter wraith or a ring wraith by the community. They are forces
Like
of
in
destruction.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings. Imagine if Lord of the Rings had a scepter and called it Scepter of the Rings. I mean, Lord of the Scepter. My goodness. Oof, my voice is giving out. They are forces of destruction left loose upon your session. It is a dream world priority to make sure that a scepter wraith or ring wraith situation does not happen. If either of these things happen, consult chapter 33 for how to deal with it. Note, the ring wraith has access to red miles, which is simply the buggiest piece of shit special attack that ever existed. The red miles can break anything. You know that the final reward, lol, avoiding spoilers, well, it can kill even that. Let's just agree that you shouldn't be able to kill that. Question. The non-interference script of the queen in my session is bugged. Critical threat. SBURB's shitty coding decided to unleash the queen to the leash the queen to the palace area by making her unable to walk a certain distance from the throne object in the middle of the castle. Yeah, well, that goddamn throne isn't indestructible. You shouldn't mess with that throne under any circumstances, else you create a situation called a loose queen, which is pretty much the same as a ring wraith on the loose. At least it seems carapaces are not aware of this exploit. Note, kings and queens cease to be affected by the non-interference script if they lose their king or scepter. Hence, we can rule out that it was initially supposed to be transferred with the items of the coding, but the coding bugs out. Question, what are exiles? Exiles are hidden game parameters. They are carapaces sent to the future to give you orders in the past. Most of the time, they give innocuous and even useful player commands to help people on the path of their role. But they are also programmed to do sneaky things. For example, carapaces are coded in such a way that they are unable to commit suicide. For that reason, they counter-order players so that they are unable to commit suicide even if they wanted. Yes, SBURB specifically makes sure you can't kill yourself. It's there to prevent you from abusing the ascending mechanics. Note, yeah, let's not kid ourselves, this is creepy as hell. Question, what are these green carapaces I hear about? The pseudo-NPCs that people colloquially call the green carapaces, but apparently they aren't exactly carapaces, are nothing but a myth. By principle, I keep myself open to any research that would prove the existence of these green folks. However, I've always felt, and that is my cue on the matter, that it would be better to pool our efforts elsewhere.
Ah ha 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 ha.
Ah ha ha ha, Q and pool, ah ha ha. Dream moons. Question, what's the point of the dream moons? You do stuff. Most of all, you can do dream quests. They're similar in essence to land quests, which means they can be just silly. Stuff like, I challenge you to eat more cake than me, or play this prank on that carapace for me, I hate that guy, or bring me my potted flower, I lost her, her name is Stacy. And that's when you're not bringing love notes from one carapace to another because you're too shy. Note, dream quests involving objects can be awkward because you don't have access to your Sylladex, so you have to hold stuff in your hands and move with it. Apparently that's an option? Yes, they were talking about leprechauns, the green carapaces. Question, what's that big chain, and why is it... Oh, please, what the hell is this? Yes, in SBURB even the moons have moons. Things are never complicated enough. The Dream Moon's moon is royal quarters, while the main body consists of the citizens' quarters. You should stick to the Dream Moon's moon early on. It's the beginner area. Question, what's those big towers with the flashy things? Critical threat. They are game objects that house prototype information. SBURB does not want you to mess with them. If you touch them or come near them, you will die instantly. Just another notch on the long list of things that will kill you without warning. Question, I went to sleep and the carapaces put bars on the windows of my dream room. I'm jailed. Well, you probably have a good idea why that's happened, and it's because you acted like a dick to them. If you busted up your carapace reputation, you'll have to reach your dream moon with your real self and plead forgiveness in a public audience with the queen. A friend can help plead your cause for you. Just don't try to break out with your dream self, it'll only make things worse. Question, why are the carapaces all grouping up for stuff? Depending on an eldritch calendar and the alignment of planets, literally, carapaces perform a special event called the ceremonies. The most important ceremonies to watch out for are the procession, you lose carapace reputation if you don't join in, the royal ball, The special agents always try to bring down the whole damn ball. And the Masquerade, a grand holiday where Prospetarians go on Durst and Dursites go to Prospet to party anonymously or wearing domino mask. A great time to wear a mask yourself and visit a friend's moon in safety. These things are all really cool, too.
What did I just do? I can't see any of my thing. Oh, that's fine.
Did you hide them again?
Yeah. I don't know why I always panic. It's always the same thing.
Question. Holy shit, I fly like shit. Why does everyone else make flying look so easy? You should probably complete the flying training quests 1 through 17 to cover the basics. They're given at the old bell tower.
1 through 17.
The dialogue for quest 4 and 12 are glitched, so watch out. And yes, quest 17 can kill you. What else is new? I like them being given at the old bell tower. Homesuck epilogue reference. In parentheses, Dirk's suicide.
It's very dark as a reference. I wonder how many times we're going to reference it.
Many. I like the epilogues. Well,
same.
Yeah, I like the epilogues. Question, can I fly out to meet my friends on the other Dream Moon? You will need to earn your wings, which is achieved by completing the flying training quests 1 through 17, the table manner training quests 1 through 34, and 9 sessions of the Advanced Etiquette Theory Class 101, the ballroom dancing quests 1 through 23, and the dressing with style quests 1 and 2. Then you must successfully dance with the queen or king during the next royal ball ceremony. Either one is fine. They'll put their hands on your back and you'll get those weird wing marks and they'll sink in. Then you can fly anywhere to your heart's content. It just took you 1 million billion years to get there, but hey. Question, what's up with the male quests? It's kind of harder than I thought. Critical threat. The difficulty level of male quests is way glitched. Players are led to believe they're pushover because of how readily available and innocent, the game makes them look. Well, we hope it's a bug because these quests are total bullshit and will shit all over you twice before killing you. Where do carapaces even find their mailmen? Because apparently delivering letters is the most lethal job in the entire kingdom. Question, is it me or do I have to do terraforming quests on my Dream Moon too? You are confusing terraforming with lunar landscaping. The latter is not a legendary quest of coming of age, it is a long series of low-level quests that reward you with free clothes. Note, Miss Taylor is awfully cute, so I always do these quests by principle. Besides, reward for this are the only way to customize your dream self pajamas. That sounds fun. Very cool.
I like the idea of unlockables.
I like unlockables,
but I would... But like the stuff for exile customization, I kind of want them to linger between playthroughs.
The exile customization, yeah. You know the game, like don't push the button or something?
Vaguely. Yeah. I mean, not vaguely. Yes.
Yes. You know how when you get an ending, it comes up with like a postcard or a collectible?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. That's like also in line with the achievements, but it's just decorative.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay.
I also like the idea of the Dream Moons like kind of tutorializing big important quest stuff like landforming or terraforming.
I do too.
I think that's a fun idea.
Right. I have... Why is that melted? Because it's way too high. He looks like he's pulling the polite cat face because of how high I put it.
Don't touch anything. That's the game.
Look at the polite mouth.
I like the polite mouth. Hold on, hide the... You are modeling on the wrong side.
Hmm?
You're modeling on the right side.
I do it on the left side.
On the left side relative to the front, not the left side relative to the player. Or sorry, not the player, to the object.
Should I not do that?
I mean, I don't think it matters.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter, but like if you consider this the left side, then it's gonna be weird if you rig stuff because those bones are gonna be called the right bones because they're relative to the character.
Then I will flip it and keep that in mind in future.
It again doesn't matter. You just have to conceptualize this as the right side of the character, even though it's on the left side of your screen because you're flipped.
I get ya.
Thumbs up. It doesn't really matter. I just do the left side. Because that's just how I was tutorialized.
It's how I was raised.
How I was raised. Okay, before we get into underlings and fray motifs and the others. Oh, wow, that's actually corrupted. Oh, you can definitely totally copy this stuff. It's just covered with Zalgo text. All right, my voice hurts.
Pause for here then.
Pause for here. Come back later, like at tomorrow.
Sure thing.
All right. This was a good reading session. We got to chapter 40 in parentheses. It's definitely not chapter 40.
Oh yeah.
And next time we'll come back to basic SBURB features. And we will get to the actual early game fact section.
Woo.
Smile.
Yippee.
And then,
Get them out,
yeah,
bro.
good read through. Okay, chat.
Indeed.
Goodbye, chat.
Goodbye, chat.
Yes, Roxy ended stream as #1 top fan, so Roxy gets to be my girlfriend for the day. In parentheses, we were already dating.
Yay.
All
Enjoy.
right, chat. Bye. Have a good day.